to the University of Michigan Sound Support's 2024 Parent Summer webinar series. This is the first of 3 webinars that we have for parents this summer. My name is Kelly Starr. I'm one of the principal investigators on the Sound Support Grant and a listening and spoken language specialist here at the Cochlear Implant Program. As you may know, Sound Support is an outreach grant that's funded by the University of Michigan Department of Otolaryngology and Michigan Medicaid. The grant is designed to provide support and outreach to children with hearing loss and their families throughout the state of Michigan. If you have any questions about Sound Support, please reach out to us and email us at oto-soundsupportci@med.umich.edu. Today's parent webinar is titled Water, Wear, and Cochlear Implants, and Audiologist Dr. Casey Stach and myself will be talking about wearing your cochlear implants in the water during all the fun summer activities that will be happening. And with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Stach and we will get started.
Welcome, everyone. Today, as summer approaches, I'm going to talk to you about water wear options for cochlear implants to ensure your child can still hear when in and around water. And I'm hoping to touch base on some basic troubleshooting as well, so summer can be fun and stress-free for parents of children with cochlear implants. So today's discussion will include all 3 FDA-approved cochlear implant systems in the United States, the Nucleus device, the Advanced Bionics device, and the MED-EL device. So all 3 manufacturers do make on-the-ear speech processors with the current technology you'll see listed here. So from Cochlear, you'll see the Nucleus 8, and from MED-EL, the Sonnet 2, and from Advanced Bionics, the Naida Marvel. And they all 3 do make an off-the-ear option as well. So you'll see the Nucleus Kanso 2 on the left, the Advanced Bionics Chorus, which is a body processor in the middle, and then the MED-EL Rondo 3 is their off-the-ear option. So we'll start with the Nucleus sound processors. This is the family of processors that are currently in use today. The N8 is the latest behind-the-ear processor, and the Kanso 2 is the most recent off-the-ear processor. But we are still using, patients are still using the N7 and the initial Kanso. Those are not yet obsolete, so they are still out there in use by recipients. And Cochlear has aqua sleeves for both their off-the-ear and on-the-ear devices. So with the off-the-ear devices, you'll see this little plastic case that pops open, and you just drop either the Kanso or the Kanso 2. It fits both. And then there's some retention lines that come with it that can go to either a set of swim goggles or a hat or even a bathing suit. The N7 and N8 have the aqua sleeve with the waterproof coil cable. The N8 aqua sleeve is going to be a little bit smaller because the processor is approximately 12% smaller than the N7. And so the little door opens up on the bottom and you slide the processor in and then attach the waterproof coil cable. If you visit Cochlear's website at www.cochlear.com, you'll be able to review the retention options. There's several different options that can be used, and you can certainly see which one would work best for your child. Advanced Bionics has their on-the-ear processors that are currently in existence are the Naida Marvel and the Harmony, and then we did already discuss the Chorus. They have an aqua sleeve that looks like this for the Naida Marvel. And it is a case that has a rechargeable battery and that's worn on an armband that you'll see here. And then it has a long waterproof coil cable that will go up to connect to the magnet site. So this obviously the little door opens up and it's pretty tightly sealed so that they can swim without worry of getting it wet. And this is the family of Med-El sound processors that are currently out being used today. So you've got the Sonnet 1 and the Sonnet 2, and then the Rondo 3 and the Rondo 2. So they do look very similar. And the aqua sleeves work for both the Sonnet and the Sonnet 2, as well as for the Rondo 2 and the Rondo 3. They are very translucent. So if you look here, you can kind of see this plastic sleeve that pops open, and you insert the processor and then seal it up as well. And the coil cable goes in there as well. And then if they're using an off the ear option, it's also a very translucent two-piece part that you open up and slide in the processor. And again, for retention options, you can visit the manufacturer's website, www.medel.com. I would also encourage you to visit each manufacturer's website, because all three manufacturers with their sound processors or speech processors do offer some water resistancy without the aqua sleeves. And so if you visit the websites, you can see the different IPF ratings for each device that they do pass for without any aqua sleeve on it. And always a note of good measure, just in case your aqua sleeve doesn't seal properly, or you accidentally forget to use your aqua sleeve, there are drying kits that all three manufacturers have that you either got in your activation kit, or you can purchase from their websites, that will electrically pull all of the moisture out of the processors pretty quickly. So the cases just open up, you can drop the processor in, and it'll electrically go through a cycle that dries the processor out. So let's just talk a little bit about troubleshooting in case you do have problems with your processors this summer. So why troubleshoot? It's really important, obviously, that the cochlear implants be working on a daily basis for your child. You want them to have good, clear sound. So equipment should be checked. If the child is unable to tell you if something is broken, and it's important to note that breakdowns do happen. Kids are kids. And if you do see a breakdown, you want to intervene quickly so you can get them back on the air. And, if they're without sound for more than a day or two, that can be a problem with them putting it back on and maybe being a little bit too loud. So you don't want them to be without sound for more than a day or two. And so you want to identify the problem and then quickly intervene so they have consistent sound. So what are some red flags that may indicate a change in hearing or a problem with their device? If you are doing, for example, a Ling 6 sound check in the morning, and they're responding, they had typically responded to all 6 sounds, and now they're only responding to maybe half of them. It might be a good idea to do a listening check on their microphone with your monitor earphones that were included in your kit, to check to make sure that the microphone, or if the child's asking for, increased repetition, or they can report to you that it doesn't sound very clear, maybe a decrease in their speech understanding, or maybe a decrease in participation in class, a greater reliance on visual cues. Those are all red flags that you want to ensure that the equipment is functioning properly and they're hearing the best they can. So how do we set the stage for success? We like to teach our families here at the University of Michigan that troubleshooting should be done if they see an issue or the child can report it. But daily checks of equipment prior to putting it on your child can be done. And if there is something wrong, we try to teach the families to contact the cochlear implant manufacturer first. Those 1-800 numbers are typically included in the activation kits, and they have people on the line all day that can answer questions, determine if devices are under warranty, and if not, if insurance will cover any replacement parts. So if you're troubleshooting at home, first you just want to gather information. What's wrong with it? When did it happen? And you can verify an issue through sometimes a visual inspection. You can tell if the cord is broken or frayed, or if indicator lights should be a certain color and they are actually flashing a different color. That usually indicates something is wrong. And then try to fix the issue. Do you have spare parts in your kit or your upgrade kit that you can replace? Oh, and if not, then the best thing to do is to contact the manufacturer through their 1-800 number where you can order replacement parts. And as I said, the manufacturer can determine if the parts are under warranty. And then additionally, there are some troubleshooting support apps and sites. If you are using a cochlear implant system that allows you to use an app on your smartphone, all three of those devices have a troubleshooting section where you can it'll run through a test to ensure the parts are working. And if not, you can, again, if you can't get a hold of the manufacturer, you want to do a quick search on Google. All three manufacturers have YouTube channels where you can learn how to repair device to your phone, or you can learn how to repair it to a remote control. And they do offer some troubleshooting advice on their websites as well. So thank you, and I hope that is helpful, and I hope you have a fun and safe summer.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Starr. I'm a speech-language pathologist and listening and spoken language specialist here at U of M's Cochlear implant program. I'm here today to follow up to the presentation from Dr. Stach from the audiology perspective of water wear with cochlear implants and retention in the device and equipment, to talk about the speech and language portion of using your devices during water fun in the summertime. So when we think about summer fun activities, many of them include water and being outside. So pool parties, splash pads, sprinklers, water balloon fights, squirt guns, boating and swimming, and rainy days when you're stomping in puddles. And all of these things are opportunities for learning and for use of language. And during those times, we want to be sure that these children with cochlear implants have access to sound so that they can be involved in that learning and that socialization that occurs during those activities. So much fun is had during those events that you also want them to be memorable and for them to be engaged in a way that is memorable for them. So when we talk about all of these, thinking about ways to keep them involved in listening with use of their cochlear implants. So to do this, we want to make sure that we set them up for success. So before you go, thinking about what needs to happen before you're walking out the door to go to a pool party or to go to the beach. And any of these events require a lot of planning, right? So you have to have the sunscreen and the bathing suit and the snacks and the extra chairs and the towels. And so there's a lot of stuff that you're managing for all of these activities. Making sure that you have the equipment like Dr. Stach had mentioned. Where is it? Having it out available so that it's easily accessible for when you need to have it. But also, when you think about these events before you're going, practice with the water options and retention devices so that you can feel comfortable with them and so that they're easy to use and you're not struggling at the time of when you need it on quickly. So I recommend that you watch those YouTube videos that show how to use the water option and the aqua kits with the cochlear implant processors so that you can kind of do it in real time. And then also practicing it and showing your child and practicing it with them so that they can feel how it feels on their head. They can see the devices. They can know how it works and what has to happen for them to be using that during swimming in water. It's great then once you do that to kind of have it all in an area where you know where it is, so everyone knows where it is and available so that you can have it for all the extra activities that are happening throughout the summer. So some other things for when they're younger kids. You want to not just show them the equipment, but talk about it and name those items. Have them feel it and go through the vocabulary of things and how to troubleshoot the devices when it's like that. We've even with some kids gone through the manual so they can see step by step what needs to happen for them to use it in the water. Just like putting on sunscreen, then it kind of feels like part of the routine, right? You get your swimsuit on, you get sunscreen on, you get your aqua kit on, and practicing all of those things. Now we know each kid is different from the next, so you might have one situation that works with one kid and something different for another for the retention of these devices. So even practicing before you get there, it's nice because you might be able to see what works and what doesn't before the time when you actually need it to be useful. So that might be with a headband. In the summer when you're outside, you might have some other things that you're wearing, like swim caps and goggles and sunglasses and hats. And so seeing how all of these things work together, hopefully, so that when they're outside and using the aqua kit, that they can make sure that it's working in succession with everything else that they have. For the older kids, also reviewing all of this, year to year, if they haven't used it since last summer, it's really helpful to go through and talk through all of it again so that they're familiar with it. Having them go through and do it themselves so they know how to work the equipment and they feel confident about how to get the aqua kit on and off, and practicing it so that if they're in a situation where the parents aren't around, that they know how to get that working. They might be at a friend's house for a pool party, and then they can test out how it sounds when you're in the home environment too. I oftentimes like to think about what they're going to gain when they use the water option versus what they will miss if they don't use anything. Each scenario is a little bit different, and it's just great to talk about it up front so that they're aware there are things that will be missed if you're not wearing the aqua kit and not having access to sound. With teens too, it's fun and it's like different. They might be spontaneous of like, oh, everyone's jumping in the pool, or dumping somebody with a bucket of water, and just being aware of those situations so that they can know how to be engaged in the moment, or they might have to back away in the moment, but also so that their friends can know what to expect in those situations. You think about safety, this is kind of along the same lines, making sure the friends are aware, siblings, if there's an older sister, making sure if they see the device fall off, what to do, or just having an understanding that they cannot hear you if the device is off, and that we need to get the devices on if they fall off, and how to do that, or who to alert. This would also be for other adults or for other family members or friends that might be watching your child, so that they can know and be comfortable with the equipment and the expectations with and without the equipment, so that everyone can feel safe and knowledgeable. I a lot of times too talk about, before you even go, what are the rules of the pool, or what are the rules when you're on the boat, what are the rules X, Y, and Z, so that before you even get there and you're in a difficult listening situation, that they have already had that prep and time to understand that information in a quiet environment. Along those same lines, it might bring up new vocabulary that they aren't familiar with. So, thinking about a pool, like, all right, so there's going to be a deep end and a shallow end, and, taking turns, and you can't go off the diving board head first, you have to, like talking about different things that might be the rules that you have set for your child for the activity. And, again, it just gives them that exposure when you know that they have a good listening environment, versus when they're at the pool and there's 5 kids running around and splashing and jumping and yelling. It makes it a lot harder to listen in those environments. So we know that, and so it's kind of doing this prep work to make sure that everyone it's successful in all various ways. then there's the fun stuff. So thinking about different songs that include water, rain, rain, go away, about row, row, row your boat. There's I didn't even bring this up in one of the first slides, but a lot of water, probably the most is when they're bathing, right? It probably is the most occurring with shower or bath. And when it's bath time, it is so much fun. And you want them to be engaged in singing songs during that time. So there's a really cute bath song by Super Simple Songs. It's on YouTube. If you kind of Google that, it'll come up. But there are fun things and activities that you want to be doing during times of water. So songs are one of them. Another thing that we often do are books, and books are fun to talk about these situations of, bath time or in the water. This again brings up different scenarios, and it might bring up the vocabulary that will be occurring in those situations. So it's always fun to have exposure in another way in showing them in a book. There are some fun YouTube videos. I know Hearing First has one that's about just a really quick video about a little girl that uses her Aqua Kit and how she uses it and when she uses it. And I think for children, it's nice to show them somebody else who's using this, who's found a way to make it work so that they can have fun and be engaged with their friends during play in the pool. So there's that one, and I know the manufacturers have them as well with children in them that are using their devices so they can see other kids and how they're using them. So that is it for the part of listening and language with waterware options. And if you have further questions, you can reach out to Sound Support at OTO-soundsupport@med.umich.edu. And we're always looking forward to new ideas, and stay tuned for our next parent webinar. Thanks.